Hey guys, this episode of A Hero's Journey podcast is brought to you by S&P Inc., JPS Computers, and as they say, we are everywhere at Rock Rage Radio. To all the listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, YouTube, Spotify. Spotify has videos now. Please help support. Chase and I have been trying to grow this show, and it's been growing because of you, but we need your help. Share the clips, all that good stuff. You know, it's crazy. I was in the lobby, and my next guest, there's so much history, and I was sharing. I was so proud of him. I was sharing with anyone who walked past me, like, "Oh, you doing a show today?" I said, "Yeah." You know, like I am, and it's a proud moment for me. I feel like a big brother to him. We've got to chance. In fact, in the intro, I pointed at the TV because I'm like, hey, that's a shot from a show we did together and that we will talk about on this show. Right at the intro of this, it was a show we did at Mandalay Bay together. But there's people that come into your life that pass through, and then there are people that come in and you know you're going to be connected for life. And this is one of those humans. This is one of those people that I'm watching his journey, and he's crushing it. He's living the life the way that I know when I used to watch him jump off the bus and jump on his skateboard at a gas station stop or at a rest stop along the road, and I would have to like holler out to him because he's off checking out the beauty of the world and the trees and the animals and then whatnot anywhere in the country. So my next guest, we'll just get right into it. It's my buddy. He's a brother to me, Mr. Rahmaan, Phillip. What's up, dude?
Thank you so much, brother.
Hey, man.
Good to see you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So we did this. You're
did
actually
it,
on the show together.
Yes.
You know, it was about a year ago right now that it was about this time that you reached out to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's get into this real quick because I want people to know out there who you are. And you grew up here in Las Vegas, correct?
I am so nervous right now.
It's
I'm
okay.
gonna just say that right at the very beginning. Like, I don't ever like talk, and that is a reason
I know
why,
that about you.
Yeah, that's the reason why I wanted to do this with you, because like you're somebody who I knew and I thought it'd be like comfortable, and yeah, you make me talk, and I'm just like, my hands are sweating right now.
Yeah, but we've done radio together, but you know that I would like run the show.
Yeah.
We get in there, and between Ben and I, and you just smile, and that was the best part about putting you on stage. When you would stand next to us and bring you out, all the ladies would be like, Rahmaan. And seriously, Chase,
they would do that for you though.
Yeah.
Thank you for like trying to be kind. But.
No, but you had your fans, trust me. And it was that smile. You get up there and play. You play violin, but we called it a fiddle with us. And we'd be on the stages, and we had a lot of opportunities to get to play. So I took you from. Not took you, but you were in a band. What was the name of the band here in Las Vegas?
So I was playing in a band called Stoked.
Stoked.
Yeah, with my boys Ilan, Billy, and Rob.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, and the singer guitar player is
Ilan.
Yeah. And I ran into him like a month ago or so. Mm-hmm. I saw him at a show, and I couldn't place it. I was like, I know him. Like, but you know how we meet a lot of people now. You see a lot of faces, and I'm like, but I know him. I know him. And I remember because you stepped in to fill in. Out there listening, if you don't know, I'm the lead singer of a band called Elvis Monroe. And it was made up of a super group, and not myself. I don't consider myself the super group guy, but it was Ben Carey from Lifehouse. You had Ryan McMillan on drums from Matchbox 20, sorry. Mm-hmm. And then there was Matt Nelson from Nelson. That was the original band. Then guys started to step in. And you were in the music video because what happened was Gigi steps in for Mariah Carey, for Ryan. David Pichette from Emerson Drive was a fiddle player. And then after him actually was Patrick Clark from Darius Rucker's band. And then we found you.
Shout out David Bichette and Patrick Clark. Shout out those guys.
Yeah, legends.
Amazing violinists.
Those guys are great, and they would watch you, and they're like. In fact, David Bichette shot our backyard family barbecue video that you were in, and he's like, I want to be in it, but he was having so much fun directing the video that he never stepped in and played. He wanted to stand next to you and play. I thought that would have been a killer moment, but he was so caught up in the moment that he's like, I didn't even bring clothes. I forgot, and whatnot, but great time. So I want to get into this. I want to get into Hero's Journey podcast is about the journey. It's about stepping into the unknown. So you grew up here and you're in a band with all these guys, the band Stoked, and you guys are playing mainly cover songs, but you had some of your own songs, correct?
Yes. I might as well start from the beginning.
Please.
So I don't come from a family of musicians.
Yeah.
Aside from my uncle Jimmy in Trinidad, who's a legendary steel pan maker and player, but neither of my parents are musicians. So picked up the viola in 6th grade, and I got more into skateboarding and football. So I played all the way through high school, but I was last chair, wasn't really into it. And I remember telling Ben this.
You told me this story too.
Yeah, you and Ben still makes
on the bus.
My senior year of high school, we ended up playing at Carnegie Hall, and I didn't even know what Carnegie Hall was at that time. And I went there, and I was this lost kid, and getting to walk through Central Park that I'd seen in all the movies, and
right.
I was this could actually be the thing that lets me see the world, let me start taking it really serious. And I did, and started just practicing as many hours as I could every day. Fortunately, got a couple of really good teachers. Mark Kovacs, my first viola teacher, gave me a bunch of fundamentals, and I was able to get a scholarship to go to UNLV. And I wanted to be a classical musician, but realistically, that was not gonna happen because I started way too late.
Right.
But I was preparing for a recital, and I started busking on the Strip, and people were giving me all this money that I didn't even intend to get. I was I should probably just do this. And then I was playing Bach, and people really liked that. But then I met a cellist who was playing pop songs, and I started playing with him, and that worked really well. Got picked up by an agent, started playing in the casinos, and I was doing all that stuff through college, a lounge musician playing in casinos, and also I just made it an effort to put myself on any stage that I could. So I was at all the open mics, and I just got this reputation around town amongst musicians that they just knew me, even if I wasn't the best musician or whatever. They just all knew me. So eventually, my boy Alon from high school gets back in touch with me, and we start a band, and I'm playing viola, plugged into a Fender guitar amp, got wah pedals and stuff, and we're playing all the clubs and making noise, making ruckus, and
I remember that it was great. It really was.
It was cool,
and you guys were doing that.
I was making a living doing that.
Exactly. It was super cool, and it wasn't I took you from them because you were still playing with those guys. I mean, as musicians, as you know, you can play in multiple projects. I mean, Ben's doing corporate cover band stuff right now as well. And so I just remember the day we made the first video. I went to a rehearsal. I had to meet you at your house with your mom. Yeah. And your mom was there, and we were rehearsing for a show just in the living room, and I'm meeting you for the first time, and I already agreed to have you play with us. And then we went to a band rehearsal, which we didn't really do. Ben and I think it was our second or third rehearsal ever, and we'd been together for years at that time. But because we were rehearsing in new players, and you were playing with us, and I said your name wrong, and I remember your bandmates were like, he can't even say his name right, and I'm like, I'm sorry, it was new to me, but then there was this bond, this thing that happened, and I remember taking you out. We went out on the road, and we were doing some shows as a 3-piece. So here we were doing acoustic shows. Ben was looping, and we're opening up for the Eli Young Band, and we were headlining our own shows up the West Coast, and we were on a bus. And was that your first time on a bus?
First time on a bus.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
And we were on Shelby, our bus. And, every night after a show, we would sit down and critique in a good way, what we could make better, like my banter between the songs, or, like parts or whatever we could do. And I remember finding you in the back of the bus asleep, and you had your viola back there asleep because you were practicing for so long. And I'm like, dude, get some rest. Like, you don't have to be perfect. This is rock and roll.
Yeah.
But we were standing in front of thousands of people, which was that new for you at that time?
All of that was brand new. When you talk about like coming over to my mom's house, the reason why I laughed is because I just remember like how much pressure I felt. Like, the story behind Ben approaching me is I asked him to come with me to Guitar Center to help me pick out an amp.
Okay.
And it was like a Thursday or something like that. And he was just like, hey man, you want to like do this show with us on a Saturday or something like that? And I was like, oh, Ben's like this.
Ben is Ben. Yeah. Lifehouse.
To this day, I still like, he's highest regard. But at the time, he was probably the most famous person that I knew. And I was like, oh man, like, okay. And he's like, yeah, okay, here, listen to the tracks. We'll come over tomorrow. So I just remember that. And like, you guys showed up and it was like very surreal. And it was like an audition for me.
We were sitting in your living room. And yeah, I can only imagine what you're going through.
I made it though.
You did.
I was like so grateful.
Yeah, and we were so happy to have you. And you came out, and I joked around about the beginning of the show where we would stop at places and you would grab the skateboard and shovel heads like gassing up, or we're at a rest area and you're off right, on the skateboard in the woods and checking stuff out, and and I'm hollering at you going, where's Rahmaan? Like, we gotta go. And here you are, just taking in every moment, that's very much yourself. And I'm going to get to, where you are now, which is really cool. You guys, you are listening to a Hero's Journey podcast, or you're watching it right now. And I'm talking to a bandmate, Rahmaan Phillip. I mean, if he lived here still, you would be playing with me right now. But we'll talk about why he can't play with me. But here we are right now. And one day you show up we were doing a show, and I remember you saying, oh man, like Stephanie caught eyes with me, and I'm like, who's Stephanie? Like, who you playing with, So tell everybody who you play with now.
Lady Gaga.
Yeah. and you know her as Stephanie. Yeah. Right? Is that right? Hopefully I got that right.
Yes.
And so Lady Gaga, how'd that happen?
So to go back to like me busking in college, like being able to get into casinos, I was able to like get residencies, and I had a residency at the Paris, and the president of the time at the Musicians Union knew me from just like being around the scene. Mm-hmm. He was just walking by, he had a gig, and he was like, hey man, I think I got this gig that would be like perfect for you. And I was like, oh, cool. He was like, yeah, don't tell anybody, like, it's Lady Gaga. You'll get a call on Saturday. And I was like, all right, this sounds like too good to be true. This would be great if this happened.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't, like, no hard feelings, like, I know how things go. Like, people, the industry's crazy. Anything can happen. And yeah, Saturday comes around, no call. Sunday comes around, no calls. Like, at least the guy knows about me, and my name's like in there.
And he thought of you.
Yeah, exactly. And then I was going to work. I was working at Violin Outlet, repairing instruments, and I walk into work, and I get the call, and it's the booking agent for Lady Gaga, and she's like, be here at this time. Like, you have to be here like today at like 2:00 for rehearsal. I tell my coworkers, I'm like, yeah, guys, I gotta leave like now. I'm playing with Lady Gaga. They just start freaking out, and
So that's why you said Ben was the most famous person you knew till now.
Yeah, he's still one of them. He's still one of them, but
That's awesome. So what was that like? You roll in, do you know the songs, but you read music, so
yeah. So I still to this day really don't like listen to a lot of pop music. I feel like my taste is like in the past. I listen to a lot of stuff from like the 70s and 80s. So I was hip to Lady Gaga, but like I wasn't like a fan at the
Right.
time. But I was working with all these like ladies and they knew everything about Lady Gaga and they were just telling me about her. And I was like, oh, okay, so this sounds like it's gonna be cool. Like I'm interested to get to know her. And so it's the jazz and piano show. And I play in the string section. I'm one of the violin players, and I think we have like 15 string players and like 15 horn players. So it's like a big jazz big band, like
yeah.
just how Frank Sinatra or
Yeah, like a big band show.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
and yeah, all the music's there. I remember like
You can read music?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry. Go ahead.
classically trained.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay.
But I remember like when I first got there, it was different, like being with that camp, because they're all are like really cool, really nice. A lot of when you're in that environment, a lot of time there's like so much going on, so much moving pieces, like you have to know your place, and you don't really get to connect with like the stars and the people who are immediately around them because there's so much going on. Like there has to be a distance.
Right.
They don't have time to like just sit back and just chat with everybody all the time.
Right.
But I remember when I first got there, like I was like, I had to go up to the green room and get something, and I'm coming down and she's like I'm in the elevator, and then she walks in the elevator with like her choreographer, Richie. And I was like, oh man, like I'm gonna get fired. Like this is like, you don't want to be that guy. Like, you know, like the first rehearsal, like out of place.
Right.
And I was just standing there and they just look at me and she's like, hey, how's it going? I was like, good, how are you? Good. You know, I'm happy that you're here. And yeah, that's just the kind of person that she is. You know?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So every video and every photo that I see, you are, if you're looking at the stage, you're dead center left. Then there's a division right in the middle for her.
Yeah.
Then there's another chair. It's the horn section, I think.
Yeah.
And it starts right there with my other buddy.
Yeah, Rashawn. Yeah.
Rashawn sits right across from you. And Rashawn, he plays with... Dave Matthews. Exactly. I never get that guy's
May
name.
have heard of him.
Yeah, little band. Little band. I also saw him play with Zach Brown. Zach Brown has this band, this side project that he does. And so Zach did this big show, and then they went into this other room inside the Cosmo, and it held like 300 people, and they did a show there. It's this side project Zach had, and Rashawn was playing there with him as well. So that was really cool to see as well. And they do a couple songs that I love. It's what's the name of the band? Why am I forgetting this project? I'll look it up, but
for sure.
But anyway, it's great. It's a great project that he does on the side because it's totally different than Zach Brown stuff. It's real poppy, and he had dancers and all kinds of crazy stuff. They were all dressed up in suits and like I said, they had a horn section and really cool things. So you got the chance to, now you're playing with Lady Gaga. I just shared it on the Elvis page right now. You wrapping up this run with her residency here. Tell us what happened, because I remember you going out of the country. So you left. When did you leave?
Yeah, I left.
Is it
2020, the beginning of beginning of March 2020.
Okay. I remember you getting ready for that, and you're like, hey, if we have any gigs, I can't do anything from here to whatever. And then I'm like, yeah, no problem. And then you left to Vietnam. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's actually really crazy how that all unfolded. My fiance, she was
Congratulations, by the way. That's so cool.
Thank you. She was my girlfriend at the time. Had always wanted to like just experience something like different, while she was young, and I had as well. She was doing some research and ways that she could do that, and one of the things that she saw was like being an English teacher, and that Vietnam was a good place to do that. You could live a good life. So we planned to go out there for like 2 months, and we're gonna go to like one of the major cities, Ho Chi Minh. And I told her, we're gonna go out there and like, in order for me to do this, to make this trip, like I may not have a job when I get back. Like this is a huge commitment.
Right.
I want to at least just take 3 weeks and just like chill right on the beach.
Right.
So we showed up to a city called Da Nang, and like the second week that we were in Da Nang, before we even flew to Ho Chi Minh, they just shut down like all the flights. And I got a call like from my family, like, if you want to leave, like we're gonna get you a flight, like now you have to leave this week, otherwise there's no flights. And I just remember literally like coming home from the market with like 4 huge bags of like all this amazing fruit that just looked so beautiful.
Right.
Dragon fruit, watermelon, all kinds of mangoes. And I told her, I was like, I think that we should stay here. Like, I'm not sure like what the future holds, but like I had what would be probably like $40 worth of fruit in my hands, and I paid like $5 for it.
Right.
And that there enough was like, I'm going to take the chance. And yeah.
Is it everything shut down because COVID hit the world? And so how long were you there then?
So we stayed for almost 2 years.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah.
Wow. And I remember, were you teaching there, teaching music and stuff? Is that what I saw?
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That had to be fulfilling for you.
It was great. Yeah.
Really?
I plan to teach when I like get back. And
so you're going back. When do you leave?
At the end of the month.
Okay. So I'm just blessed to have you on the show right now.
I'm blessed to be here.
Thank you. We talked about this. So again, congratulations, man. I mean, there's so much that we can talk about, but there are little things, and I talked about this a little bit, but I remember, and I don't mean to bring this up in a bad way, but I remember, because it was a learning lesson, and a Hero's Journey podcast, it's based on, stepping into these new areas and learning and finding a mentor and people to bring you along. And Ben and I felt that we were like big brothers to you. Like, Ben has done way more than I've ever done. He's played The Tonight Show, 18, 19 times. He's done Times Square, New Year's Eve with Ryan Seacrest and Dick Clark. Before that with Savage Garden. He's done so much. So I have so much to learn from him. And when he brought you into the fold, I'm like, okay, let's do this. And then my family loves you. The Hopkins family is just like Rahmaan, and you always embrace the fans. Our fans, you would go out of your way to find them. I would see you on road trips on your own, showing up at our fans' places and meeting them in person because they wanted to meet you. And that's just who you are, that smile on stage, connected with people. You love what you're doing, and that's what it shows. It bleeds through. I talk about this with Chase all the time. Producer Chase knows that you went to Austria.
Yes, sir.
So he had a chance a year ago, right when we started the show, to go and sing opera and learn and go to school for 7 weeks. And I'm like, dude, you have to go. Yeah. You got to go do this. And what was that like? What was that experience like for you?
Man, at first it was kind of horrifying because it's like, you have that moment of just like, well, I'm about to, leave everything that I know, for, these 7 weeks. And even though it's only 7 weeks, anything can happen. Like I could not have a job when I come back.
Right.
Whatever could happen with my family while I'm gone and that kind of thing. It's scary, man.
Mm-hmm.
But like it was so rewarding and I learned so much and like I got to work with amazing people and I have experiences that I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be going back every summer and that kind of thing.
Yeah, he just got back. He went again. They brought him back to work this time, so he got to go back and work with the same people, but then also be kind of like a mentor to some of the students and stuff, and record them and help them, and he's getting to perform and getting paid to perform, and it was what a cool experience. And same with you. You're holding all this fruit, and it's like I can get on a flight and come home to a world that's shut down, or embrace what I've got going on in this moment. And now I've got somebody who I love, and we're going to figure this out together.
Yeah.
We're going to navigate this together.
Which was crazy.
Yeah, but that's you, man. That's how you roll.
Yeah.
And
the whole like COVID thing with a partner though, like if you just thinking back, because I know that a lot of people have told the stories like when you're with somebody and you love them, but then like, COVID was unprecedented. And
right.
We all like had to just like be on lockdown with one person.
One
the whole
person.
Time.
Exactly.
And it was really crazy because like we did not know anybody. And not only that, we didn't know how to find news. We didn't know how to ask people what was going on. So like,
wow.
It was
like
crazy.
You didn't know when you get to come home.
We had no idea.
Yeah.
Just had to kind of trust.
Exactly. But that's really great. And I'm glad that, you guys came out of it stronger, of course.
Of course.
Yeah. And that's COVID for me with Nicole was, I was locked down with my best friend, and we came out way stronger. And you would think that we'd be tired of each other, but 6 years, October 1 was the day that basically I met her, and that through all this tragedy here, that fateful night here in Las Vegas. But February 10th is our 6-year anniversary together. And I feel like it's been 6 months with that person. I'm not even kidding. And I tell her every day. And you know how I am. I'm a big softie. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and, and that's why like my family loves you. We love you. But getting back to, like mentoring and whatnot, I remember getting on the bus one morning and you were late to lobby call. And
oh yeah.
And and I remember then you were late one more time, and I'm like, no, like you got a bit of a lashing. Let's just pull the bus across the street and where we have to go, and he can walk, kind of thing. And it was like if this happened with anyone else but Ben and I, then you would be let go. They would just send you home. So these were lessons that we learned, but we learned them the same way. Trust me. I learned that from Ben early on as well. He's my best friend and bandmate, and I'm sleeping a little longer, taking my time, getting to the lobby, and everybody's waiting on me. And he's like, is your time more important? We have places to go. We have radio to do. We have these things to do. We need you like this. But these were lessons that you learned that now you're playing with like a superstar. And as you said, you're in an elevator and you're like, I could be fired. There are certain things you're not supposed to do. I know that when I'm going out on tour, you're the opening act. They may be my friends, but there are people that work for them, and there are rules. You can't be walking past the fans when they're doing meet and greets or whatever. There's just certain things that people don't understand unless you're in it. Mm-hmm. And we were trying to teach you those lessons along the way.
And I think about that experience, that tour with you guys all the time, because you guys did show me so much. And about like being a professionalism and, hanging out with all these different people, and you don't know who these people are.
Right.
And how to talk. And one thing that I noticed about you and Ben as well that I always think about is the fact that you guys like don't drink.
Oh yeah.
Or smoke.
Yeah.
And I think about that to this day, because when you're like in this industry and you're around so many people, so many different energies, it could be tough to like be confident in yourself, like
right.
who you are. And with what we do, like I was just talking to a friend about this yesterday. It's like you show up to work, people are like, here's a beer, here's a
right.
joint. Like, what other job do you have where it's like you're kind of expected to do it?
Right.
But even beyond that, like the other things that you do, like one thing that I learned about myself is that routine is very important to me. And like I started waking up early in the morning and like being focused on my health and exercising. And I can't do that if I'm like partying.
Right.
And you feel like this pressure. And so I just keep like you and Ben in mind when it comes to those situations. Like you guys really showed me that you could be around anybody, but the reason why you're around them is because like you're good at what you do. You're good at the music, and they respect you because of that. Like you don't have to pretend. If it's time for you to go home, you could go home. They're not going to be offended.
Right.
Like you don't have to prove anything to anybody.
No, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It means a lot. And you should hold that same value in yourself because you are that good. You have that ability. You are there because you've earned it. So be yourself. Be you, man, because they're going to respect you the same way. It's been that way my entire life for me. I said that. I shared this story. I went through high school eating by myself. But you know what? I knew I was good at sports. I was confident in who I was. And so through high school and whatnot, I didn't need somebody or people around me. So I wasn't influenced by anyone but myself or the people that I looked up to. People, I knew that there was a kid across town or across the U.S. maybe outworking me. And I don't know who he is. I don't know what he's doing, but I'm going to outwork him because I need my opportunities. I need out of here. And I'm going to work hard to do them. And I saw that in you early on. And when we were out on the road, I saw this work ethic. And I remember you telling this story where you were last chair. And when you said that and you felt like, I don't deserve to be here, I went, oh, you do. Just because you're last chair doesn't mean you can't make first chair. And now you are. You're sitting there right behind her. I don't know what that is, but you're in every video and every photo. You're right there in everything. On the biggest stage. I sent Nicole's parents to see you last week.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And Lady Gaga comes out and she's videoing and she's crying, right? To see this performer doing, not her pop stuff, but, this show big band show that she does. And I'm texting her, that's Rahmaan. That's my brother. Right there.
Nice.
That's Rashawn right next to him. They've earned that spot and you've earned it. And that's what's great too, is I want to get into, I got a chance because we're going to get into your music and I'm going to have you perform here pretty soon. And are you less nervous now?
I am listening.
Okay, good. Because I don't want you being nervous when you're playing. But what I want to talk about is this. You called me on FaceTime and I remember this. It's burned in my brain. You had a white robe on. You were sitting in a hotel room. I had just noticed that you played the Grammys. You just played the Grammys with Lady Gaga. And you're calling, and that's all I could say. I'm so excited. And you said, I called because I saw you started a podcast. And I just wanted to say, I'm proud of you. Tell me why. Why did you call that day? What was it? We hadn't spoke. We spoke through messages. That was it. But you wanted to call me, and I want to know why. I want them to know why. I know why, because it brought me to tears, man.
I think it was just to say thank you, right?
It was, but here was the thing. I said that had to be one of the greatest moments that you ever had. And you said, I just played for the president. And you were calling me from what country? Was it?
Oh, yeah, Switzerland. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was there for the World Economic Forum and Davos. I'm trying to remember like exactly what I said, but I just remember I felt like I needed to call you because I saw that you were doing the podcast, and I want to say congratulations, and it just being surreal being out there.
It was, but I had said to you, that had to be your favorite moment, and you went, no, my favorite moment was Mandalay Bay.
Yeah.
And why was it? Why was Mandalay Bay? We took the open credit, the little intro of a Hero's Journey podcast. I pull a shot where we walk out on stage and the crowd is going crazy. And I look over and I'm videoing you, and you just got a big old smile on your face. There's 5,850 people there. It's us and Brett Young, and they're going nuts when we walk out on stage, screaming. And you're just smiling ear to ear. And I remember you saying to me from that hotel room, that was my favorite moment. My mom used to take me to shows there.
Yeah. That was still like the biggest, and that is the second biggest thing I've done as a musician. That's the second biggest thing.
Really?
I'll tell you what the first.
Oh,
first
please.
Man, that Brett Young show, like I'll never forget it. Like, because my dad like used to take me to concerts there.
Oh, okay.
I remember
right.
like seeing Ziggy Marley there.
Yep.
Like when I was young, and just never even imagining like playing the stage. And yeah, it sold out, like a sea of people, and like just how that sounded. And I always had this dream of what that would be like to play a solo and have that many people like hear what you played. And to make that happen, like
Now you did. We played Rebel, and you were just ripping on a solo in the show, right?
I remember like every moment of that show. That will always be at the very top of my list. Like it doesn't get bigger than the first one, is what I'll say.
Right,
Like,
right. No, and I get that, and it meant a lot to me to have you say that after seeing you just play at the Grammys, and then to turn around though, and that wasn't even that long ago. That was like 4 years ago maybe that we did that, and what's crazy is I just saw Brett last night. He just played here in town, but that night I saw one of my heroes, somebody who inspired me, was at the show, and that was the singer-songwriter of Vertical Horizon, Matt Scannell. Yeah, and I'm blanking. I'm horrible with names. Matt though was there, and I got a chance. I'm freaking out, getting ready to take the stage. We all are, and I shake his hand, and I'm like, "Hey, man." There's a song that we play. It's called The Fight. It's like an anthem. And I get the crowd to sing along. If you feel it, I would be honored if you come join us on stage. And he says to me, it's your show. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. He's real gracious and whatnot. And I'm like, okay, cool. But just know you're invited. Like, please, just make your way to the stage. And we're doing that song. And we're about into the second chorus, and I look over, and there he is standing on the mic next to Ben, between you and Ben on the mic, and I'm freaking out because there is Matt from Vertical Horizon on the mic, and I introduce him, and he ends up singing the rest of the song with us. We get the crowd doing the whoa, whoa, whoas and everything, and the lights in the air, and it was insane. And that's a song that we wrote called The Fight, for the city, for Las Vegas, Vegas strong, after October 1.
Mm-hmm.
And what was nuts about that was afterwards, I said, what made you come up and do it? He goes, 1, you were right. It was like an anthem. And 2, I watched the opening act, which was you guys, and almost 6,000 people are here. This place is sold out. And he goes, and I watched them lean into you, song after song after song, and I wanted to be a part of that. I wanted to connect like that with an audience like that. And so I think about that all the time, because it was a huge compliment coming from, somebody that I look up to. The guy's a great songwriter. He writes for a lot of people. So now I want to get to, you have music out.
Yeah. Oh, just so that I don't
please
mix things up. The first biggest moment was when Quincy Jones,
thank you for doing that,
just walked in. I had a random residency gig at the Cromwell, very slow place. Quincy Jones walks in, and I don't even realize it's him, and he just listens to me play for 2 hours. I didn't even know that.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I didn't even know it was him until afterwards, because he had on he just got left a masquerade ball or something. He had a mask on.
And he sat there watching you for 2 hours.
2 hours. And I don't care whatever happens to me as a musician, that is come on now. If Quincy Jones listens to you,
come on. Come
Yeah,
on.
nothing else needs to happen.
If
to
he
me
walks
as a
in
musician.
and leaves, that's a different story. But if he sits
Even
there
if Quincy
and
Jones walks in and leaves, that's a compliment. Like, you put that on your resume.
yeah, that he was in the room.
Yeah,
correct,
yeah.
correct. Well, what a cool moment.
Yeah.
But it meant, I got to tell you, man, it meant a lot to me to have you just want to reach out and then want to be a part of this show. It meant a lot to me on so many levels. It really did. And the fact that you were sitting here nervous doing this, but I mean, there's 5 cameras, there's 2 producers sitting over there.
Yeah,
You know,
this is really like
yeah.
really nice, man. And
Thank you.
I've seen the guests that you've had sitting right here, so I'm like a fan, you know. Like I watch it.
Thanks, man. Well, let's get into this before we got to go. And thank you. I want you to play. I wanted you to play for everybody, but you have music out. Is that
Yes.
correct? So you put out, what is it?
So I'm also a composer, and I just released an album for string quartet, all original music, and it's available. Like it's on Spotify and Amazon, all that stuff.
Spotify? Is it iTunes?
Yeah,
Amazon? Okay.
Yep. If you just type in my name,
Rahmaan Phillip. Can you throw
Yeah.
up his name underneath this right now, please? Just so to make sure we get that correct. There you go. And you can follow you on social media and find the music as well.
yes,
Are you going to play us a song today?
I am.
I hope so, because before we started late because you forgot
Yeah.
a couple of things, and our boy shot you down there and,
Thank
and
you
went
so
to go
much.
grab it. Yeah. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, I'll do a little tune. I'm gonna play some Stevie Wonder.
There we go. I love it. I almost mentioned his name a moment ago, so this is perfect. Cool. So everybody, if you're listening right now, you're still with us. This is a Hero's Journey podcast. Brian Hopkins and my boy, the producer Chase, the voice, which I was off the air. I literally was like, oh, do you guys know a song that you could do together? That was me getting, reaching. But anyway, but I have my boy Rahmaan Phillip here, and he's going to play a little Stevie Wonder for us. Doing a little tuning because I have the fan going on in here, air conditioning, and if you know string instruments, they tend to go out of tune just sitting here. So let's, to everybody out there, JPS Computers, S&P Inc., the Rock Rage Radio listeners, we've got Rahmaan Phillip on. This is brand new. Is that a viola? What is this? Electric?
Yeah, so this is my electric violin.
Oh, I love that.
Yes.
Okay,
I
cool.
do all my like pop stuff on it because it's lighter and easier to carry around.
I love it. I said it wasn't going to be electric, but this is perfect that it is. Remember on the way in here?
Uh-huh.
I misinformed you, brother.
That's okay. We worked it out.
Beautiful dude. Rahmaan Phillip, everybody. Woo! Yeah. Dude, thank you so much. That was awesome. Here you go.
Thank you for having me, brother.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So what's next for you? I know you just wrapped up with Lady Gaga right now. And what's the next thing? Are you out here right now in Vegas? Because it is. We drop this every Wednesday. This will be out next Wednesday.
For sure.
Are you playing anywhere here in town?
So I am going to be premiering my music live on October 21st. I have a recital at Southern Nevada Music. So it's going to be a free recital. Anybody who wants to like hear my compositions for string quartet live. And I'll also be playing some of my pieces, original pieces for solo viola as well. Besides that, I'm going to be going back to Vietnam and traveling back and forth, and mainly just focused on composition right now. Like,
Okay.
yeah, I love playing music, but there's like a whole nother aspect of music when you get to write it and create it, and you don't have to worry about like the physical part of it.
Okay, so where's that come from then? I know when I'm sitting down to write a song, where's the inspiration coming from? I know that for me, it's like a download. I don't know where or why, what time of the day. I don't know what
100%.
it's about. Is that the same for you?
Yes, and I think that some people like have that. Like anybody could be a songwriter, but like for some people, it just comes more naturally. And I'm the same way. Ideas just come to me and I just know that I have to act on them right then, because you don't like choose when the inspiration hits you. But if you're fortunate, you recognize it and you act on it. My biggest inspiration though right now is culture and my environment and my surroundings. So I love to like, I travel a lot. So whatever like their style of music is, whatever region in the world, that's what I'm studying and trying to incorporate those nuances. And love to write about like the types of birds that they have and beautiful scenery. I just wrote, I'm almost finished with my first symphonic work that I wrote in Thailand about like just a lot of things that I learned while in Thailand. So,
Really?
yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. That is amazing. So here's the thing. I want to go out. Is there another song you can play that we can go out on?
Sure.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I would be honored.
I think that it's appropriate that I do a Lady Gaga song. If that's
Oh, I love that. Let's do that. Let's do that. One more song. Yes. Rahmaan Phillip, thank you, buddy. I love you. I know I wish Ben was in town. I would have had him here because I know that he has stories as well that we didn't get into. But I want to say congratulations. You want to shout out to your fiance on here?
Hey, Shawnee, thank you so much. I love you. You're amazing. Oh, since you brought it back up, the whole COVID thing that I was saying with the partner, just to not confused, I'm with my best friend as well. And
Right.
it feels like how you said 6 months is just amazing.
I love that.
I think that anybody who had the opportunity to get locked down in COVID with your partner, it did one of two things. It either made you realize that you're not for each other, or that you certainly are.
Yeah.
Because that was like crazy, like to be like locked in a cell with somebody essentially.
Right.
So yeah, you just come out super strong. And
Exactly.
I'm grateful. I'm very grateful.
That's awesome. Me too, man. Me too. That's what a blessing then. So little Lady Gaga for my boy, Rahmaan Phillip. Hey, Chase, did you have a good time?
I'm having a great time, brother.
All right, man. So thank you. I appreciate everything. And
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
yeah, let's knock out another one. And then I'm going to shout out to our sponsors right now, S&P Inc., JPS Computers, Rock Rage Radio listeners out there. This is Rahmaan Phillip. right. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, shout out to the Elvis Monroe Mafia. That's Ramon Phillip there. Woo! All right, this is the Hero's Journey podcast. Chase, thank you so much. I love you, dude.
That was awesome, man.
Wasn't that cool?
That was sick.
That was so cool. You know those are clips, dude. Both
Absolutely.
those songs are just clips. So, again, thank you, Ramon Phillip. I love you, dude. Safe travels, all that good stuff. Go check him out. I'm at a loss of words. That was super cool. That was super cool. All right, guys, we're out.
Dream, and I believe it's coming around to me.